Perfect with no flaws at all are the laws of Allah. A way of life, a way of life, a way of life, a way of life. Islam is a way of life.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa sallallahu wa sallam ala Nabiyyina Muhammad. Brothers and sisters, welcome to this episode. In our last discussion, we were dealing with intimacy, and it's intimate when you speak about intimacy. And of course, it's a sensitive topic, conflicting views, it's taboo. Shh, be careful. On the other hand, if we don't address it, then ignorance will prevail and problems will arise. So we know that it's a double-edged sword and it's a tough discussion, but the truth necessitates that we share these issues in this particular episode today, inshallah. So we were speaking about a wife not being vocal about her needs, therefore the husband doesn't realize he's not fulfilling her needs, so problems. And then the other way around, you spoke about pornography, and the truth of the matter is there are perverted men, and there are men who have to use this because anyone, if you told you want the real life or you want to see people on a screen, he would tell you the real life. So for him to avoid the wife and go to the screen, to television, it means that there must be something serious in his needs being fulfilled, unless he's sick, which exists. So let's go to that first option. The lady, the wife, is failing in this regard. He doesn't see in her what arouses him. What advice do we have, and what is the nature of this problem?
Bismillah wa salatu wassalam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi sahbihi min walah. There is rigidity sometimes. That's the reason. And husbands are complaining. See, I don't feel anything. Allah, subhanallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, Zuyyina linnas hubb ash-shahawat. Allah made the lust beautiful and make the man has this, both the opposites have this inclination for a divine wisdom behind it. Allah, when Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because there was a rumor in Medina, if anyone approaches his spouse in a way different from the normal way, which was known, the female is the passive, okay? So the child will be cockeyed. That was a rumor. That was a rumor in Medina. And the Muslims in Mecca, you see, because the people of Medina, they had the Jews in Medina. So they heard the Jews saying these things. They said, well, they are people of the book, maybe it is true. But the Muslims in Mecca, they were enjoying themselves in many ways. So Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab, radiallahu anhu, he married a woman from among the Ansar, the people of Medina. And he approached his tilly, his partner, in a different way. Then he came shivering, afraid. Maybe it is true, a child will be cockeyed. And he said to the, but see how he put it to the Prophet ﷺ. He said, Ya Rasulullah, لَقَدْ غَيَّرْتُ رَحْلِيَ الْبَارِحَةِ. Oh, Messenger of Allah, I have changed the saddle of my mount last night. The saddle. The Prophet ﷺ kept quiet. Who answered this question? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Send down. نِسَاؤُكُمْ حَرْثٌ لَكُمْ فَأْتُوا حَرْثَكُمْ أَنَّ شِئْتُمْ. Your women are your tillage. Approach your telly in the way you like, in whatever manner you like. And then the Prophet ﷺ, he explained what is this, in whatever manner you like. He said, do everything except anal. It is haram. So Allah Azza wa Jal is telling you everything is halal for you. Everything is halal for you.
So if the spouses understood
so they should understand each other, be open with each other. This is what I like, this is what I don't like. And by the way, women in general, they like tenderness. And men should understand this.
Any comments on what Sheikh Salim said? What are the other issues?
Well, like the Shaykh said, I could not add anything more except that transparency is very essential. Not only in bed, but in the whole marriage. So it is important to be frank, to address problems head on. We have a problem in our homes that whenever a problem arises, we tend to either run away from it or to take something that would ease the headache instead of curing the illness. And this erupts every now and then. It comes back and again and again. And instead of facing one problem, you face 3 in the past. And then instead of facing 4 problems, it's like 10. So it is essential for us to solve the problems, to go to the root cause of the problem, while, of course, bearing in mind not to be rude, not to be aggressive. So many times we have problems and we start head on, attacking each other. And when you say, Akhi, why are you talking to your wife like this? Ukhti, my sister, my daughter, why are you so aggressive with your husband? So that we're trying to solve our problems. Problems are not solved like this.
Well, one of the things I often say, Sheikh, is that, you know, when a sister wants to persuade her husband to buy her a new dress or to buy some furniture for the house, or, you know, something that is very important to her, mashallah, she knows all the beautiful techniques, you know, you're my husband, you know, this and that. And exactly, you know, just how to butter him up, we say, yeah? But, you know, when it comes to some of these problems you're talking about, it's like she is very aggressive, and she, you know, this nagging. And the woman starts to nag, the man tends to, he shuts off. And he will avoid, it's like, and it goes back to the, you know, first of all, he feels perhaps that, why are you bringing this problem up with me? I know how to solve the problems. I'm in charge, you know. So he feels his authority is being challenged, and this upsets him on top of that. And then he doesn't like the way that this issue is being dealt with. So, I mean, just to reiterate what you said, Sheikh, is that for the sisters especially, always be this nice, beautiful approach. Yani, even the, you know, when the sisters, they say, my husband is not religious enough. You know, he is not really, sometimes, astaghfirullah, even not praying or something. I still say, use the same techniques, use the same way. You know, if you want this, you know how to persuade him. But now when it comes to his Islam, you this, you that, you, no. And this way will work with the woman, mashallah, to the husband. On the husband's side, he also needs to listen to what his wife has to say as well.
This aggressiveness was mentioned in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. He said, مَا كَانَ الرِّفْقُ فِي شَيْءٍ إِلَّا زَانَهُ. Kindness and gentleness was never present in anything except that it would beautify it more. And if it's extracted from it, it would make it very sad. Not only that, the Prophet said ﷺ, that when Allah loves a household, when Allah loves a family, He introduces to them a kindness and gentleness. So if you have a problem with your wife, if the neighbors can always know, oh, Sheikh Asim and his wife are on it again, they're shouting, they're screaming, they're breaking the plates, etc., then this is an indication that Allah does not love this house. But when there is this love, this gentleness, this kindness, no aggressiveness. Why do you have to be aggressive? Why does the wife have to pick the wrong time to address her need? She should, as you've said, she should treat her husband as she treats her child, because a husband is a young child. She can do wonders, you know, by talking to him as if talking to a child, treating him as a child. But he's an old child, a big child. If she does this, wallahi, she can have him like a ring around her finger.
And he feels jealous, by the way. A husband feels jealous if he is neglected, and this is a real problem. A woman, when she gets children and she is only focusing on the children, neglecting him, he feels jealous. Subhanallah, he is a child.
He needs attention.
Yes, he is a child. You need to take care of your child. Subhanallah. And this child, he has that mentality at some timings. For example, when the Sheikh said about if he is neglecting his religious duties, you have to educate him. And maybe you are, mashallah, more educated than him. But you know what? We men have this ego. They tell him, MashaAllah, my husband, you know better than I do. How about reading this? Can you explain this to me? Let him feel, huh? It is play with the psychology, with his mindset. Sometimes he has this ego, he will not listen to you. Who are you to teach me? Okay, so put this booklet in his desk, or a tape, or a CD, or anything. So when he is by himself, he will. So you should know how to deal with your partner. Another problem I just now remembered, that many of the husbands, they complain that their wives, they don't look presentable. They don't take care of their looks at home. They buy clothes for them. Many, they say, Wallahi, the clothes I bought for my wife, I've never seen them. You know what? I see them only on day of weddings of others. On the day of the weddings, she is a bride. That is my day. She is a bride today. The rest of the days, what I see, the clothes of the daily chores, what I smell, the onion. Subhanallah.
We're going to have to take a short break, and after the break we will be discussing some other issues pertaining to this matter. We'll be right back.
A way of life, a way of life.
And we're back. So we were discussing, allow me to intrude and try to present a view which we haven't really elaborated on, but it's relevant to the topic. And if you find that it is early, just dismiss it and move on. Could it be, or is one of the main reasons behind the calamities or behind the problems at home, the absence of angels and the presence of the shayateen? The household, the lifestyle is one where sin is prevalent in the house among the parents and the children. Music is in the background, nakedness on TV, things of the sort. And this is where the shayateen spend their time and hang out. And the angels will leave because of the presence of certain things. And obviously this is among the main reasons why people have problems. Had the Muslims tried to remove these external elements and then see how harmonious the relationship would be, many would do the other things we discussed and leave this one, ignore it. But I think it's crucial. Do you agree or disagree?
Agree, totally we agree with this. And subhanallah, the house that has no dhikr, it is like the graveyard. That's what the Prophet ﷺ said. And the house which has dhikr, subhanallah, this is the beauty of Islam. We have everything. So the house that has dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the angels in heaven, they see this house is shining, illuminating because of the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if the house is full of demons, shayateen, and the angels of mercy, they leave the house that has a dog or that has pictures, images, they don't enter such a house. So what do you expect such a house, the situation in that house? Full of shayateen. But if the house is full of the angels of mercy who are praying for you, so these problems will be
reduced. Brother Abdurrahim or Brother Asim, can you give us a brief description of the ideal Muslim household, the ideal Muslim home? What should be there, what shouldn't be there, just briefly, even if it's bullet points, so that we can give something practical that the families can begin implementing as soon as they watch this.
Just one little thing I wanted to say, which is to pick up on the Sheikh, alhamdulillah, I didn't even know this hadith, that's fantastic, that if Allah wants to bless a household, He
introduces to them kindness and gentleness.
Kindness and gentleness, mashallah, first time I heard that, and mashallah, so for me, it's like, the moment you mention this hadith, I'm thinking, okay, let me think about my house. Does my house fit the bill for this? And I would say, I would like more kindness and gentleness in my house, definitely. So now, how can I go about bringing more kindness and gentleness in my house? And I think it's not because, okay, that's it, I don't find enough kindness and gentleness, Allah doesn't want to bless my house. No. So I'm going to go and inshallah try to make my house a place that has more kindness and more gentleness. It's the same, when you're praying salah, you should have khushu'. Even it's better, you should cry when you are standing in front of Allah. And the ulama said that if you don't cry, make yourself cry. Make yourself cry. Because then the emotions, the things will come. And I think this is, from this hadith, what we all need to try and do is think about how can we bring kindness and gentleness into the house. Now, this goes back to an important thing. the position of the man. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given man that position, the male, the man, the position of authority, here is exactly an example where his authority comes into place. It's not only commanding this and commanding that. This is his part of his responsibility to introduce kindness and gentleness into the house, inshallah. So I think this is one of the things you can try to do. Make your house a place where there is kindness, where there is gentleness. And the best way for the brothers is to lead by example.
Excellent. The ideal, this of course part of that being part of it. The ideal Muslim household is one where kindness is prevalent and is in the air, as they say. What other things?
In a nutshell, your house should not contain anything that angers Allah Azza wa Jal. So does this mean we have to turn our houses into a mosque, a place of worship? Not necessarily, but if you don't have these things, it will in fact be a house of worship, because everything you do pleases Allah Azza wa Jal. And this includes halal things. So when we say that, akhi, you have to get rid of these haram things. You should not have statues in your house. You should not have portraits in your house. You should not have music. You should not have soap operas or movies or things that do not relate to your religion. But you can have everything that is halal. And among the top of the list, as Sheikh Abdul Rahim stated, is the things that brings your kindness and gentleness. So I may have this rifq with my wife and we love each other, we have this compassion between us, but it's the children that always fighting. So I have to introduce to them the thing that makes marriages happy, and that is acknowledge the difference in personalities. So when you marry a wife, when you do not acknowledge that she is different than you, then you'll have clashes. Women love to be treated nicely. Women love to be taken care of and cared for. So without her asking, every now and then, buy her some, do her favors, do something to express your love in actions, not only in rhetoric. And this is what my wife says to me, and I'm always neglectful, I'm not always heedless about this. When you travel, send me an SMS. Don't call me. Just send me an SMS of love. Couple of words of something nice. And this works, it does magic. It costs a little bit when it's roaming, but come on, don't
worth
be
it.
Yes, it is. And it's fun. I used to, and I still do, alhamdulillah. Once a year, I would take my wife, only her, to Mecca or to Medina, because to me it's very close. It's not like people in London saying I'm taking my wife to Mecca and he pays an arm and a leg. For me, it's next door. But I say that this is your night. And I serve her the dinner, I get her the plates, I get her the food and whatever. She's like a queen for one night, and I take the rest of the 364 days for my advantage.
Wait, 364, that's Gregorian.
Oh, well.
There's the 300, maybe 50 something.
Okay, so the same thing goes with the woman. If she acknowledges that the man has just come in, he has so much stress, he's not like you. He's not willing to engage in chatting what happened throughout the day. So give him time, give him half an hour, until he relaxes, and then gradually bombard him with your demands and your problems gradually. This will have a good effect, inshallah.
That's an oxymoron. Gradually bombard him.
I would like to add something here regarding how to make our home and the typical Muslim house. Read Surah Al-Baqarah in your house. This chases away the shayateen. If you have enough rooms in your house, dedicate and make and allocate one room as a masjid in the house. And unfortunately, many brothers, this is not there in their minds, that there is a room masjid where the wife and her daughters, they pray in that room. And even in Ramadan, they pray in that room. So this is known as a masjid, this room. And also, subhanallah, the praying the sunnah in the house. You see, the Prophet ﷺ taught us that you pray the fard for the men in the masjid and pray the sunnah in your house, so that there is rahmah, there is light, there is nur.
And so that the house will not become like a graveyard.
Like the graveyard.
As you mentioned earlier.
Yes. So these are things that will, inshallah.
How about halal sport?
One thing you need to get rid of in the house to help make your house a more happy, place and to bring everyone closer to Allah is the television. The television is the biggest waste of time, is the biggest source of, maybe not the biggest, but maybe the biggest source of evil, yes, especially in the West. And the best thing you can do for your family and your kids is to get rid of it altogether. And you will find, subhanAllah, your household will transform. What do people do if you get rid of the television? What's going to happen? MashaAllah, they will start playing, the children, they will start interacting, they will start reading, they will start reading, you know. And MashaAllah, the difference you will see, and believe me, they will not miss it. Once it's gone, they will not miss it.
Correct.
And it's a fantastic way just to transform your household and inshallah bring blessings of Allah. And I think maybe the masjid could be a library and a masjid as well.
Library. There should be a library in the house, actually, Islamic library for all ages, for kids, for adults, for students. So it is very
I'm thinking about us in England, Sheikh. Our houses, you know, are so small.
Okay.
To find an extra
So at
room.
least, for example, I mean, maybe you're not that educated in Islamic, but the book is there, okay? So your daughter, maybe she feels shy to ask you. She will just go, open the book, and she knows. Okay, they are fatawa for women, books, and mashallah, beautiful books. So this is very essential to have them at home. And besides the television in itself is not haram. I like one of the dua said, the problem with the TV only when you open. There's nothing wrong as long as it's off. As long as it's off, it's okay. The problem when it is, you turn it on.
And you're watching,
and you watch these things.
Haram things.
And there are, mashallah, now good channels, Islamic channels. So there are alternatives. There are alternatives.
Yeah, because
and
someone
maybe
may throw the TV while watching the show.
And subhanallah, sometimes you want to remove the telly and your sweetheart tells you, on my body.
Dead body, that is.
Yeah, over my dead body.
On my dead body. You cannot remove it. I am confined within 4 walls all the day. This is the only window I watch, and you want to remove it? Who brainwashed you?
Yes.
And now you don't know what to do. And you might go to a fanatic sheikh, and he tells you she is not pious partner. Get rid of her, divorce her. No, don't listen to that.
Maybe you should get a dart game and practice some of that. Anyways, the time for the episode is over. Inshallah, there will be one more episode in regards to the issue of marriage. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
A way of life.